In 1864, the Taiping Rebellion was defeated and the remaining remnants of their soldiers formed the Black Flag Army and the Yellow Flag Army. The Qing Army in 1865 pushed the Black Flag Army and the Yellow Flag Army to the northern border of Vietnam. The Black Flag Army will later get support from the Kingdom of Nguyen by King Tu Duc, because the Black Flag Army was mostly fighting against the French, and King Tu Duc wanted to keep the French out of Vietnam. In 1873, the Qing dynasty defeated the Pantai Rebellion of the Hui Muslim people in Yunnan, and the Zhangtong Rebellion of the Hmong people in Guizhou under Hmong King Cha Xiongmei. The Hui Muslim people in Yunnan, and the Hmong people in Guizhou, started migrating in mass number into Indochina at the same time in 1873. For the Hmong people, this was the second mass flow of Hmong refugees from China. The Hui Muslim people enter Laos first, coming from Yunnan, that was literally just over the border to Laos, while the Hmong in Guizhou came second behind them. The Hui Muslim people did not enter Laos with good intention, and under the red flag and the striped flag banner, the Hui Muslim enter Laos attacking, raiding, looting, conducting mass execution, and burning down Buddhist temples throughout northern Laos. The Hui Muslim under the red flag and the striped flag banner also conducted ambush and attacks against the Hmong that were trekking behind the Hui people coming from Guizhou. The Red Flag's army raided everything along their way, and soon turned east into Vietnam and sacked Dien Bien Phu. While the Striped Flag's army raided into Xian Quan, and began raiding the Hmong villages in Xian Quan, and soon seized control of the Hmong largest village of Nong Het. The Striped Flag's army also sacked the Phuan capital of Muang Phuan and the Plain of Jars that same year. Phuan Prince Chauong soon came to the Hmong people asking for a military alliance, since the Hmong were also fighting against the Striped Army that's been raiding their villages. In 1874, the Lao Kingdom of Luang Prabang and the Vietnamese Kingdom of Nguyen both sent troops to attack the Striped Army in Xian Quan, but both army was defeated and forced to retreat. After the defeat, Lao King An Kam of the Kingdom of Luang Prabang sent an urgent message to the Kingdom of Siam for Siam King Chulalongkorn to send immediate military assistance. The Hui Muslim, after defeating both armies of the Lao and the Vietnamese, then moved south to sack the city of Vientiane. In spring of 1875, the Kingdom of Siam sent a large Siamese army to cross the Mekong River at Nong Khai, and they attacked and captured the Hui Muslim base at Chiang Kham. But after the first battle, the Hui Muslim refused to enter into more battle with the Siamese army, and withdrew into the mountains of Phuan and Hua Phan. The Siamese army for the remainder of the season didn't do much, but patrol and guard the low land, and never went after the Hui Muslim in the mountains, and by the end of the season returned back to Siam. And the moment the Siamese army was gone, the Hui Muslim emerged again to loot and plunder more or less at will. From 1876 to 1882, the Hui Muslim army mostly raided villages and hid in the mountain. But in 1883, the Hui Muslim army changed their tactic and went on a major offensive against the Lao Kingdom of Luang Prabang. The Hui Muslim army made it to the outskirt of the capital of Luang Prabang, and Lao King An Kam again appealed to the Siam Kingdom for help. In 1884, the Siam King Chulalongkorn dispatched a Siamese army, composed largely of ethnic Isan soldiers, to go support the Lao Kingdom of Luang Prabang against the Hui Muslim. British surveyor James McCarthy also participated and went with the Siamese army to Laos.
James McCarthy. The Siamese army was ill-conceived, inadequately planned, and ultimately unsuccessful.
The morning of February 22, 1885, the Siamese troops along with the Lao troops attacked the Hui Muslim stronghold. The Hui Muslim stronghold was well fortified, and the Siamese army used 6-pounder 64mm guns to destroy the fortified position, but the Siamese apparently lacked ammunition for the 6-pounder gun. The Hui Muslim had modern repeated rifle that inflicted heavy casualty on the advancing Siamese and Lao soldiers. At 4 p.m., the Siamese commander-in-chief, Friar Raj, was injured by a bullet and ordered the retreat. The Hui Muslim continued their depredations until the 1893, when a combination of Siamese and ultimately French pressure forced them to retreat back in Yunnan, China, where they originally came from. In 1893, French Governor-General Jean de Laine-Saint sent Auguste Pavie as consul to Bangkok to bring Laos under French rule. When the Kingdom of Siam rejected the French demands, de Laine-Saint sent 3 French military columns into the disputed region to assert French control in April 1893. In the north of Laos, the French army came under siege by the Siamese army on the island of Kung, and French officer Thoreau's was captured by the Siamese. While in the south of Laos, the French occupation proceeded smoothly until an ambush by the Siamese army on the village of Concord resulted in the killing of French police inspector Groscurin. On July 13, 1893, French sent 2 of their gunboat ships to sail up the Chao Phraya toward Bangkok, and came under fire from the Siamese fort at Pak Nam. The French returned fire and forced their way to Bangkok. With guns trained on the Grand Palace in Bangkok, the French delivered an ultimatum to the Siamese on July 20, 1893, to hand over the territory east of the Mekong, and for Siam to withdraw their troops from Laos. When Siam did not immediately comply unconditionally to the ultimatum, the French blockaded the Siamese coast. In the end, the Siamese submitted fully to the French conditions, after finding no support from the British. The conflict led to the signature of the Franco-Siamese Treaty on October 3, 1893, where the Siamese agreed to cede Laos to France. In 1896, the French imposed taxation on the people in Laos. When the Lao tax collector arrived to collect the taxation from the Hmong people at Nong Het, multiple Hmong clans Kaitongs did not even know about the taxation, and the Lao tax collector was demanding triple the tax collection that the French had originally demanded for. The Lao tax collector was abusing the tax system, and demanded triple the tax on the Hmong people to gain personal wealth. But even under the original French taxation collection demand, majority of the Hmong people were not able to pay for it. The French taxation as stated, each Hmong man must pay 1 silver piastres and serve 1 day of corvée labor work every year. The Hmong Kaitongs at Nong Het came to an agreement not to pay the taxation. And in response the French sent in the French garrison to attack Nong Het. The Hmong responded by organizing a Hmong defense force, equipped with Hmong musket and crossbow, and ambushed the French garrison at Ban Kang Phaniang, 12 miles east of Ban Ban. The battle raged on for hours, until the French commissioner in Xianquan province heard of the battle and immediately ordered a ceasefire. French commissioner then asked the Hmong to go to Ban Ban to negotiate. Out of all the Hmong clans Kaitongs in Nong Het, only one was not afraid to talk to the French, even if that meant getting arrested, imprisonment, or death, and his name was Tong Kai Mua, head Kaitong of the Mua clan in Nong Het. At the meeting at Ban Ban, both sides came to an agreement that instead of collecting silver piastres from the Hmong people, the old tribute system will be used instead from collecting farm cultivation, farm livestock, and opium, since majority of Hmong don't have silver piastres. The French were particularly very interested in making an opium deal with the Hmong people and even offer the Hmong people opium seed. The other agreement that was made was to allow the Hmong people to collect the tribute themselves from their own people, instead of having Lao people do it for them, to avoid conflict and corruption by the Lao people. The French appointed Tong Kai Mua as Tossing of Nong Het, and he became the first Hmong Tossing ever in Laos. The Hmong quickly came to be regarded as the most suitable opium growers for the French colonial opium trade. The Hmong high mountainous region was perfect for producing high-quality opium. Before 1896, only a few Hmong actually cultivated opium for medical and personal use in Laos, but after the deal was made with the French, nearly every Hmong household family in Laos was cultivating opium as a source to pay the French. On February 1899, the French Governor-General of French Indochina passed Article 87 to authorize full opium cultivation in Indochina, due to the high quality. European colonies' taxation system was deliberately designed to force the people to produce cash crops, such as opium, to be exported for the profit of the European government back home.